All right, I think that's all right. We may have another one or two members coming, but we do have a quorum, with the exception of State Street. Because Michael has to recuse himself for that issue. But anyway, let's start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay. The next thing is we take roll, and Jamie, are you taking roll?
I'm not. You can do roll and it will take it as record from the meeting.
Okay, so, member Vivino, are you here?
Yeah.
And member Gosnell? Present. And member, pardon? Yes, I forgot, sorry. Wilson, I forgot to not tip of my tongue, and Chairman Garfield are here. Other members are not present. Okay, so the first item on the list is 8 Rockledge, and may I ask, so JB, in the interest of the fact that maybe yours is the most significant to review, if maybe we could just spend a couple of minutes and take care of maybe the easier ones, if that's possible, because I think there are some perfunctory ones here. The 165 Main Street appropriateness for a proposed sign installation. Oh, okay, so you're the applicant, thank you. Would you like to come forward and identify yourself, please, and tell us what you have?
Get close to the.
I think so, I mean, I'm not sure.
Usually the stand is over at least a year.
Maybe I should
Yeah.
sit back down.
Maybe, you know, just,
We should use that for.
yeah, you're that, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Are the plans available that were submitted?
Jamie?
Yes, which one would you like me to pull up?
165 Main, the open door care network.
Right, there's 5 documents.
Oh, just the rendering.
Okay. Would that be,
I guess
it's not listed as that, would that be the elevations material specs?
Yes. I think so.
Okay, bear with me just a moment. Okay,
No.
is this it?
No.
It might be, if you scroll down, it's showing that sign.
Yeah.
I mean, we really just wanted to basically right there, talk about that sign that's being proposed. If you scroll up a little, yeah, there it is. So, if you could just hold right there, I'll introduce myself. My name is Matt Calvo from Building Brothers. I'm here with Michelle on behalf of Open Door Care Network. This was one of their first locations. They currently occupy this location and space across the street. They're seeking to reclad the awnings that are there, reclad the sign on the existing marquee over the entrance, and add a sign to the extension on the right side.
Is this a Photoshop we're looking at for
Yes,
post?
that's a
Do you have
Photoshop.
a picture of the existing?
Yeah, it's just a blank wall right now. And I have a picture here that I printed, but
Is it on your deck?
I think it's above this image right here.
Jamie, can
Or
you
we can
just,
zoom out.
for the record, go to
There
the
it's there. right there.
Okay, so there's the existing, I see, so the 3 blue awnings are pretty much staying the same.
Correct. And there's also 3 flat panel signs around the perimeter of the marquee over the
And you're
entrance.
just adding the logo up
Correct.
top of the tower there.
And it would be ideal because it would mimic the logo directly across the street
Yeah.
of their location.
Okay, so it's essentially the sign, you're replacing the awnings are new, are gonna be new, so the material will be more vibrant, not faded. Is that
The
right?
awning frames will remain, but it's gonna be brand new umbrella fabric. It's gonna look really good.
Yeah,
Okay,
all right,
and they're the same, same frame, so the dimensions.
Correct.
In your family.
Yes.
all right. Are there any questions from the board?
Okay, what is the sign dimensional letters or what is?
They are backlit halo lit illuminated letters, but it's very modest in size. So,
you have a blow up of it or?
I have like an image here I could pass around if that's allowed.
Well, that's what you have to look
I
at.
think it's on there.
It might be on there like toward the,
Yeah, we saw it on the rendering, there it is on the top right.
yeah, but
Mhm.
there's
Yeah,
a, there's
that's
a,
On the next,
yeah, I think it's further down,
yeah, scroll down one page, please. There we go,
right? There's one look at it.
okay.
Oh, that's part of the application too, the sign on the wall?
Correct.
Oh,
That's the main,
oh, that's the main thing we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad you pointed that out. And is that, what am I looking at? Is that a,
so these are halo lit letters or
Oh,
a logo. It's set off of the building about an inch to allow the light to shine back onto the wall to give
Yeah.
a glowing effect. The light does not shine through the letter, so it's a very like indirect illuminated look.
And all the wiring and other apparatus is gonna come straight through, there won't be anything else up there,
Correct.
just the sign.
right,
And the sign itself is very low profile. The letters are just 2 inches thick, or like the logo part is 2 inches thick, and it's offset 1 inch from the wall. So 3 inch projection. It's a total of 17 square feet. So nothing Times Square-ish going in here.
any other questions?
I don't have any objection to it, it just would be, I think, the first illuminated sign that where it is allowed, that side of the street. I think it makes sense with what's happening across the street, I think it'll look nice, I have no objection to it whatsoever, it just,
Well, we don't, it's not,
Direct
the law that we can't do it. What were you saying?
I was saying it's not direct illumination where like you have a cabinet sign that's blaring light straight out.
But it's electrified, there's power. to
It's
it.
electrified, there is power. It's LED modules mounted inside that just shine back.
Can you go back to the picture where it's proposed and you can see it in full context? Is that right there? Oh, let's see, it's a little. Oh, I see. I mean, I don't have an issue with on a blank wall, anonymous wall. It's kind of interesting you're putting up there. If it doesn't signal the entrance or anything, obviously, right?
It's more of a beacon kind of to match.
Tie one
across the
building
building.
to another one
Yeah.
across the street as
Mhm.
a signal for people.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Any other comments or questions?
No,
Do I hear a motion to vote on it? All right, second?
I second.
All right, all in favor? All right, so you have your C of A. And your C of A will come whenever they type it up. I'll sign it as soon as that's
great.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good evening.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Good.
I guess JB, we should go now.
By default.
Yeah, I'm sorry about with State Street, we'll have to see if there's anything to discuss. Since we won't have a forum in Michael's, if you don't have another member for it. Okay,
Alright. So this is a Rockledge. The owner trying to redo all the finishes on the house. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the house.
I live across the street.
Yeah. So I don't know if, they do have a small print, but I don't know if, we can put the drawings up for now, my house. It has
Sure, I
like
can post, do you know which one you want me to pull up?
8201.
201. Mine are not. Hold on.
Probably the file that says elevations and materials.
The elevation.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do the elevation. One moment, please. There you go. Is this what you're looking for?
Yes.
Great.
So he's changing the siding,
Yep,
he's changing the trim, the windows, and at the bottom, there is a stucco base painted green currently,
right.
that he's replacing that with brick.
Wow.
Yeah.
And those, Okay, there's a legend for samples and that's your thumbnail sample, fine.
Yeah, that's the brick that he's using at the base.
Yep.
This is the honey plant. This is not the color, this is the texture that.
Yeah, it's a little off on the rendering.
Yeah. No, it's, the color is, like a
Is it the color? I'm
portrait
looking at?
yellow. This, yeah, this is the color here.
Okay, but the brick you showed me is red. It's the base, but when I look at your elevation, it looks like
I
it's
think
white.
it's a bit of the PDF because it is, PDF is red, so I don't know if it's.
Jamie, can you zoom in on that bottom elevation? This happens all the time with PDFs, like the light line
Yeah.
work
Uh-huh.
makes it look like a light
Yeah,
gray.
so it's red brick, I see, I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I gotcha. And so it's hardy board and, oh, geez, they're terrific.
Sorry.
Make a note that, member Casey had arrived.
The, the existing finish on the exterior is cedar shakes.
Yes.
If you have a picture instead of the drawing, that would be the best.
Yeah,
way.
there's a photograph of the existing building.
Let me see if we have.
And JB, it would also be not only of this Rockledge view, but the view facing east from the parking lot. And the other view too, because those three sides are easily visible. from
Yeah, I
the
don't
street.
know if I have, you have the photos included in the.
Jamie, there's a file called photos.
Okay, one moment.
That'd be a good one.
Thank you. There,
Yeah. Is there one on this, well, okay, you don't have this side views?
One next to the
Oh,
gold.
yeah, there you go, great. Okay.
Yeah, so.
And there's one more maybe, Jamie, if you keep scrolling.
there,
It's
that's from the rear.
That's from the rear, which is really,
vintage.
I think I've never seen the rear. But from the other side, are there any more, JB? Did you take one from
Just
the?
those
No,
three.
Okay, well,
Okay.
all right. But the other side facing the former Goldfish restaurant facing west, that's part of the work too?
Yes,
The whole, all the sides?
and it's all the same,
elevations.
it's all the same.
I see,
Okay.
they're re-siding the whole house
Yes,
and they're adding a brick water table.
yes.
Okay,
Mhm. Okay,
what color is it going to be?
The color for the siding is this, I can. Color,
I'm sorry, the material for the sign?
honey plant,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. And what's the dimension of the plank? Is it?
they come 6 inches.
Okay.
this sample is given to us to show you what the hardy plant color will be.
Yes,
Off the analog? Okay.
that was the, because also we had the roof, they have selected these, Patriot bread,
Okay.
Why are you showing us that now? What's that?
that's the roof,
Oh, what's their shingles?
yes,
It's gonna be red shingle.
yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if I've ever seen like red.
Yeah. Right.
Will it be shutters?
No, we're not putting that side.
And what color will the trim on the window be?
Oh, white,
Red.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, right.
And nothing else is being modified?
No.
Basically, they're just re-siding the house, not a hardy plank, and adding the brick, changing the roof color.
Is the door changing?
uh,
If it's green now, obviously, and
They're gonna want to be green. Would be weird.
on your elevation, Jamie, could you go back to the proposed elevation? Wherever it was?
we told have it green in the elevation, so we can.
Oh,
It's
was that,
the door, we,
is that the intent? You keep, and the porch, of the porches with the new siding. The porch is also gonna have a ready. Do you have an elevate? Okay, first of all, let's settle on the door. Is the door supposed to stay green or is it
It is proposed to stay green.
existing? And the windows are existing, not to be replaced?
No, the windows are being replaced in time.
Oh, what are they being replaced with?
With the 400 series. They cover way too much the existing, the trim is too much existing as well.
Are the windows gonna have buttons? I'm not sure I can see them. They look just
No,
double
we
hung.
didn't plan to have more.
And the existing ones don't.
No,
Yeah, okay.
Can you show us what the proposed side elevations are with this speed?
yeah, you can,
Jay, I don't know, Jamie, if you know what drawing JB's.
You can- I mean, you
Oh,
can
there it
draw-
is.
I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with this. I'm just, my assumption is that the applicant knows his
All right, there it goes,
presentation.
there it goes. Yeah.
But
Is the chimney staying the way it is, or is there
yeah,
a note to it?
chimney
Okay,
Yeah, it says
the-
existing
to remain.
chimney
Yeah.
on here.
and, so the only thing that's not gonna be brick at the base course will be the steps, under the steps. And the porch, that's staying stucco or something, or whatever it is now?
Yes.
All right, did you show us the other elevation? I lost track.
This should be all,
That is the west elevation.
if you can, I don't know if it's up or down, but.
So this
So
is
we
the
have
right,
or
existing right elevation.
Is that what you called it? Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
This is
Or
the
west
existing
ele-
left elevation.
Yeah, that's the east elevation, yeah, okay.
okay.
And then do you want
And
me
that
to
lean-to
go back
in
to
the
the
back
original,
stays-
which is the front elevation?
Right, so the lean-to in the back stays the way it is.
Mhm.
That right doesn't get changed.
No, not, all the siding is changing. for
I
this
see.
side. All the roof is changing.
Oh,
all the windows are changing.
and also something on the other elevation, Jamie, the other side elevation, you're making them uniform. Yeah, right, the rear annex is different, now it's gonna all be the same.
Mhm.
Oh, that's good. Okay, well, certainly, nice to see they wanna change it. Certainly nice. All right, all the windows will be replaced per the same specification, no buttons, they're just double hung.
Right,
The way it is now.
Is there a grout color for the brick?
looks like it's gonna be white.
Like gray, like this.
Any other questions by the board? Okay. Do I hear a motion to vote on
I can motion again, Catherine.
Okay. it? And anyone ready to
I'm
second
gonna
it?
second the motion.
All right, all in favor? Okay. Thank you, JD.
Thank you.
Don't let the contractor build something different.
By the
Wait,
way,
let me tell you.
are they connecting to the rock ledge for the sewer on that house? That's the-
No,
Oh, the trenching, is that
well,
just?
the trenches for the stormwater,
Oh,
they're
right.
connecting the sewer to.
So that is connected, but the waste is gonna still go on Liberty?
Yes, because
Oh.
we find out that, unfortunately for the contractor, Rock Village has both county and village sewer.
Okay. All right.
But
That's
like it
good.
goes, the farther one out is the village, not the county.
All right, I didn't need, I mean, that's just an aside, I have nothing
Yeah,
to
you
do
can
with
go
the
over it
sewer.
or under it,
Yeah.
definitely right next to each other.
Yes,
And that one's in the way,
yeah.
all of the county.
All right, thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Good night.
All right, so now we can talk about the continuing business. And I just as a footnote for the, board, after that, we have to rectify El Patio, the, project from last month. And if there's time, I'd like to talk about the memo about fences that I raised at the last meeting, but now it's time for, State Street, 34 State Street.
Just 165A was not being.
We just did that.
Well, you just-
Before you're right, that got
Yeah.
approved. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, introduce yourself.
Michael Bevellino with architecture. At last month's meeting, the board raised some good questions about, youth rooftop units and some of the holes in the facade, you know, potential penetrations in the facade. Per everybody's recommendation, that's something that we'll continue to study as the mechanical systems get developed. I'm glad that the board like raised it and made us aware of it. The renderings and what we're presenting are pretty much the same thing as the last go around. I don't think there were any like substantive comments about the Smith Robinson house. So we didn't make any changes there. I know this is kind of an opportunity, if there's any additional questions about those materials or what we presented there, I'm happy to answer them.
The only thing, I'd like to point out is, I think Steve brought up Casey brought up a good point the last time. We didn't really talk much about the elevator bulkhead. And, it is a feature, and it gets, you know, for me anyways, it kind of got overlooked because generally from the street, you don't see any of it, or you won't, I believe. But, I think that, you know, for the C of A, since I believe it's still possibly not settled what it's gonna be clad in, that, we vote for C of A, we'd like to still be able to, help you resolve the final cladding system for the bulkhead, but in principle, doesn't seem to be an issue, the fact that this structure is coming up past the roof. And just maybe to remind everyone what we're talking about, is it something that can easily be brought up in elevation?
Yeah,
Remind
Jamie, would
people
you
that.
mind opening the file? Revised planning board presentation.
Sure.
9/26.
Is this what you're looking for, sir?
Yep, and then if you wouldn't mind scrolling like kind of all the way to the end of that document. I don't know if there's a fast way to get to, yeah. And then go back an image or two. Keep going. Keep going. I think the aerial image, we can zoom in on it. You see it there? Actually, Jamie, if you
Oh,
wouldn't
I
mind.
see. Is this what you're looking for? This is the aerial.
That one works. That one works too. If you wanna zoom in on the Smith Robinson house. So it's a great question, a good point, and something that our team went back and forth with on quite a bit about whether or not to clad that, like the vertical surfaces in the same copper as the roof so that it kind of, the copper color as the roof, so it goes away, or sort of match the, you know, the monitor, like the cupola color. Seems fair speaking. We landed on the white, especially if you go, Jamie, if you wouldn't mind going back down a page.
Sure. This
When
one?
you see it from the ground, yeah, that one. I don't know, it seems to be a little less like visually obtrusive to have it kind of blend in, where here, like you don't see that roof from the ground. You see like
Yeah.
the vertical surface, so we thought in white, it kind of went away a little bit more as opposed to matching the roof color.
Yeah, well, as I think we said, it could be stucco, could be panels, the same color. I think it's a footnote to what the scope of work is ahead of you. And, I'm just saying that whenever you resolve it, if that's something, that could be something that's on the C of A, would just be part of the conversation. I don't imagine, it's not gonna be the tail wagging the dog though. All right. I don't think there were any other comments that were left hanging, any other issues left hanging.
Can you speak in any detail about what you're gonna be doing with the mechanical roof?
So above the corridor, we'll have small units that are maybe like 3 feet by 4 feet that serve each one of the units. But they'll be away from the edges, they'll be kind of in the center of the building, and then For the heat pumps, I think it's a small, like 4x6 opening in the facade. We're still like chasing through what the exact mechanical system is gonna be. Again, I mentioned this is gonna be a passive house project, so
Mhm.
the goal is to seal up every single hole that we
Right.
possibly can, so we've been looking at alternatives, but the idea is that any impact on the facade is gonna be a pretty minimal thing.
Okay, I mean, if it's not minimal. Yeah, they get a purposeful looking feature. I mean, and
Well, can we say in the CLA that, if something comes about that changes what you're planning, that'll be something that's brought to our attention?
Yeah. For sure.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
I thought she would assume.
Yeah, rooftop and exterior facade penetrations.
Okay.
The dryer vents were the thing I was most
Yeah.
worried about. They're always hideous.
So dryers are ventless,
Then,
yeah,
okay, well, you won't have to do it apart.
yes.
Okay, so, I believe there could be a motion to vote on the CLA with the stipulation that, as we mentioned in the last month hearing, we were able to opine on the final sample board of the facade ground, facade mortar and color. And now also on whatever material you pick for the elevator bulkhead in the Smith House, any any additions to rooftop facade equipment or any penetrations in the facade for dryers, which shouldn't happen, or any other kind of vents would be brought to our attention. I think we also said that we would resolve the porch and handrails. That would be something you could bring back to us later on when it's further along. Including the concrete, the retaining walls. So I think those were it. You can go off and check mine on.
We need another COA, right? It would be,
No, I don't think it would be another C of A because to the extent we would just be following through on it.
Okay.
Bulkhead studies, the porch lights, dryer vents. Yeah, those are the stipulations. Obviously, any other changes that may occur contrary to what we're seeing
Right.
that come about inadvertently, it's the same idea. We'd like to just, be part of that. All right. Is there I believe we could take a vote, but is there a motion to take a vote at the C of A?
I motion to take a vote.
Second?
A second,
All right, so basically, we're voting for a C of A on the project pending
as it is designed now.
as evidence designed now, and that we expect that, will be part of there'll be another subsequent presentation just on some detail, which shouldn't affect your overall progress of the project. And there'll be the elevator bulkhead material, rooftop, equipment, if any's added, any facade penetrations, and the porch, State Street porch. Banisters and steps.
Chair, what do you wanna see for the banisters and rails?
I thought we were quite clear on what it was gonna be. And I had a question on the color also of the decking. That was my own question, not necessarily the material anymore, but the brown decking. That's what I put down as a note before, and also the concrete sheet walls that are coming up. It didn't seem to be too resolved how the concrete comes up and meets the terrace, the patio paving.
The steps coming up from State Street?
Yeah. I believe these are small things to deal with, and in principle, we're not arguing with it.
Okay, just wanted to make
No,
sure.
it's important, yeah. Okay, so we can vote with those stipulations then. All in favor? All right. Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah,
Thank you all for your time.
Oh, yeah, look forward to seeing you, Bill.
Really, thank you.
yeah.
I much prefer being on this side.
All right, so procedural thing, George, sent us a note, which was a very important point, actually. Last time, we voted on El Patio and the fact that they have now a uniform beige, frieze or sign band. I had also made the note that it's okay, I believe, the committee had no issue with the fact that the existing blue trim has remained within the storefront assembly on the pilasters and some, I think the doors.
The doors.
Yeah, so basically we have to formalize that. So I'd like to hear a motion for formalizing and approving the C of A as it was submitted to us with the repainted sign band and the existing blue trim in the storefront remaining. So if I could hear a motion on voting for that
Make a motion to vote.
and a second motion,
Second.
wonderful. And all in favor?
Thank you.
Okay, so that's another seal. And with that, we finished what's on the agenda, and if there's time, I mean, it's only 7:30. I'd like to propose that we could revisit quickly, maybe in half an hour, if people can stay, the proposed memo about fencing or the issue about it. And what next steps members may believe are appropriate, any changes, if you had the chance to look at the April 4th draft I submitted. Very much like to hear any more comments that we might have.
I just think
If
that
anybody has,
if the village is gonna allow fences on through lot properties, they just need to codify it. But I also think that in the historic district, fences should come before this board
right, so,
if they're in the front yard.
okay, so. Did anyone,
But, I mean, I,
Maybe don't say if they're in the front yard, but if they're street facing, because
Yeah.
that's
okay,
the gray area with the.
Yeah.
couple lot.
Yeah.
mhm,
well,
okay,
let me, first of all, there were two issues as you may recall. One was regarding the code that exists now. We still believe there's a discrepancy or contradiction in the fact that if you have a through lot, the code says that there are no such things as a backyard. You have a front yard. And therefore, if you're putting a fence in along either of your front yards facing either street, that can only be 3 feet, I believe it's 3 feet tall. When in fact now the DOB, our building department seems to have informally allowed the fence on one end to be 6.5 feet tall, as if it were a backyard. And that's a separate issue, which, again, I think we could raise with the board. I believe we were supposed to be getting a letter from the building department explaining or clarifying the reasons that maybe the fence section of the code is interpreted by them the way they've been interpreting it. And I think before we get something like that, I wonder whether we're able to productively pursue that particular part of the issue in more detail. But the other part regarding fences, as I think you saw from the photographs we went over briefly, and the ones that were attached to the memo I drafted, you know, brightly colored fences, vinyl fences within our district, I think could really be ruinous, you know, for the impression of the district, and contrary to the design standards that were developed over a decade ago. It's just something that wasn't on the radar. So I would like to propose that if you have it in front of you, or if you don't, I guess I could have thought to make copies. But I could just read this possibly, and then, you know, you can offer whatever comments you'd like to offer initially about how to actually draft something. Because the next step would be for us to come to a consensus on what kind of wording exactly are we talking about, and make a presentation to the board of trustees and the mayor for action. Until we have something written, just presenting the general idea that we have a problem with it will be very inefficient. I think they'll certainly understand we want to know details of what we're exactly proposing.
I like the logic of how you just presented that now. Two observations, and maybe bifurcated this, but this whole idea of the front lot, backyard and all that. I mean, the whole point of having a code for fences that face streets is for that very reason.
Yeah.
Because they're facing the street, and it's not up to somebody to say, well, this is gonna be my backyard, and then somebody else, well, no, this is gonna be my backyard, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well,
And it's the reason why.
In my view, and I think if you look at the attachments there, and again, there's only so much we can talk about this, because it's the DOB's purview apparently to act this way. There are just a couple simple sentences in the code that seem to prohibit, to me, clearly prohibit what was approved. But, okay, the building department said they'd respond to us with their logic or whatever other considerations there were. I don't know how we could possibly pursue that point any further until we hear from them. If there's something that existed or some other action that took that we're just not aware of, but right now I remain confused about it. At the moment, there aren't that many true lots in Sparta. I'm on one of them. But you know, I don't have an intention to create a full height fence on my other side of my lot facing Liberty. I am concerned though that my neighbor, the new house that's being completed, for all I know, on their driveway entrance on Rockledge, they may have a 6-foot high fence. Well, I would know which would happen.
Why wouldn't fences come before the HPC?
Because there's no permit needed.
But it's a change to,
Well, you see, this is why we're talking. It really caught me by surprise. As you know, my neighbor also put up a white vinyl fence and
well,
I
yeah, I mean, solar panels have come before that.
there are,
Whatever that was,
Yeah.
that
these are all,
air conditioning in it.
you need permits to put in air conditioning, I guess. There's no permit required for a fence. There's just a statement saying what you can and not do. And as a result, you don't need a permit. So therefore, there's no reason for, as I understand the logic, for the building department to opine on any of it. Okay, so, I think it's as simple as that. And we're not here to talk about inflicting a building permit requirement village-wide. At least that's not my intention.
No.
It's just simply to focus on the historic
So
districts.
if there's no building permit required for work you're doing, and you live in a historic district, you don't have to come.
Apparently not, you know, because then my neighbor put the vinyl fence up, you know, he did everything he was supposed to do. He called the building department, told them what he was doing. They said, no, go ahead, you know. And that was it.
Yeah, he
And
didn't have to call them. He could have. just put
yeah,
it
he probably
Do
didn't
you
even
have
have
to get
to
a
call.
permit to like put in a, air conditioning unit? Or
Well, central air conditioning,
On-
you put a,
out of your house, you have to get a
Yeah,
permit for that?
as you know, we had to approve
Yeah, but
an air cooled condenser.
I know we did, because you can see it from the street.
Yeah, anything
Right.
electrical, plumbing.
But it was part of the permit, as I understand it, for the initial installation of the air conditioning.
Right, but that, I mean.
I had to get a permit for my
That's your
central air
point.
conditioning.
You know, the
But you
fact
don't
that.
have to get a permit for that.
Yeah, right.
This is the thing that never occurred to me. I mean, that's why I was so surprised. It just, I hadn't seen fences go up anywhere near me,
I mean,
other than what had been there in
I
in
just,
place.
yeah, I think village wise, that would be a different story from
Yeah,
like a historic. The
Right.
historic district has unique
the
rules.
city under fencing could institute a law that says if you're in Sparta or.
It's just in the historic district. If it's under if it's anywhere it's under our purview, if it's visible from a street, we should have to review it.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think it's, and, yeah.
So now the question is, if we review it, what's the code? And there has to be some, I believe, criteria, or else, you know, we have to be, we can't just say we don't like it or we do like it. I think
What's the criteria
Well-
for anything
Yeah.
that we're approving?
Well,
Lighting, materials.
so, that is another way to look at it, that instead of say an outline of the specific wording of a regulation of what's prohibited or what. That's what I wrote, was what was prohibited.
It could be,
Okay,
Right, I
so
think
somebody
what
wouldn't
the-
bother coming to us with, you know,
Wooden, like.
a chain link fence. You know, because that's not part of the design standards that were adopted. They're not requirements, they're just design guidelines.
I'd have to look back, but I feel like HPC, the guidelines, it's like in keeping with
Yeah.
the historic fabric
Yes.
or, you
Yeah.
know, of this area.
Well, then, that's another way to look at it,
Material,
is
vinyl,
that,
no,
yeah,
well, that's
does it
another.
look like wood, you know, like that, there's very.
Catherine, you may actually have solved a big problem just by saying this, in my view anyways, because I thought we should offer some criteria to let people know what we don't want to see. But perhaps it's like you said, just like with the siding, we just reviewed. You bring us what you want and we'll look at it and we'll deem if it's appropriate or not.
Appropriate, that's
Yeah.
exactly right.
And it could very well be that simple.
yeah, leave it open ended. So that way, I mean, because that's, well, I mean, they might post something you never thought of.
I just find, I mean, I guess it was because, you spell out what's not allowed and just save people the effort of even bringing it to your attention.
Yeah, that might,
And that's the only reason I mentioned. It.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I just glance at that.
Yeah, sure.
You could just pass it.
Oh, here's Stuart, hi. We took care of what you said about the, L party, hacienda. And we got some more to see things. We're just now, with something finished up pretty early, I've asked if we could talk about my fencing idea.
Just let me know what was the outcome on 34 State Street.
We approved it subject to some stipulation for further review when they resolve the detailing.
And that'll be in the video, so I'll be able to put that into the
Yes,
seal.
yes.
I've sat down for a few.
Oh.
Here's a general question. I think it was a good point Catherine raised. I had, Stuart's seen my memo. I had thought to list things that aren't allowed for fencing, if in fact this ever comes from both ends of the board. And Catherine brought up a good point. Why bother stipulating anything? Just say fencing has to get reviewed. If it gets passed this way by the HPC, and we'll look at it and determine what's appropriate. We won't necessarily say you can't do white vinyl fences or you can't do a chain link.
You had better language than that, Kev, because you referenced a language we use for something.
well, it's just, yeah, like, we review things that are, what is it, like, to maintain what appropriate for the area based
Yeah.
on the history, like, I believe I said historic fabric.
Yeah. So
But,
that,
yeah, like,
yeah.
anything that comes by,
uh,
is it,
But
is it horrible?
yeah, I like what you did there, though. Maybe we can do some kind of blend,
Yeah.
you know. Keep a number of things open-ended, the way you're stating,
Materialized.
but under no circumstances will we approve anything on that list. So don't even bother,
Yeah.
and that gets to what you were saying, Dan, why waste people's time? If somebody's gonna, hey, I wanna put up a chain link
Right,
fence here, it's only 3 feet high,
Yeah.
and we're gonna say, no, anyway, so
Right, so,
I
yeah.
like that.
I think-
Maybe we can do some wording
I-
that way.
I think that would be an atypical condition in the code, like if the goal is to introduce language in our zoning code that says if you're in a historic district. HPC has to opine on your fence. It would be strange to legislate within the code to be the only time that happens, specifically prohibiting.
I don't know if it's really a zoning issue so much. Is it a zoning issue or is it a code issue?
The code that dictates all of this stuff is the Ossining zoning code.
Yeah, you're right. That's true.
Where it should be is in the design guidelines. So like anybody that's going before HPC should be looking at the design guidelines before they come here to not waste their time. So like,
That might be the
that's
way
where
to
that
solve
language
it.
should be.
Well, the design, certainly that's what inspired me to, start looking more at this. And that's certainly one other way to do it. I don't know if the design guidelines though I'll look back at design, I didn't print them out here, but, there are things that could still be built in accordance with the design guidelines. For example, they don't make note of, for instance, having integral lights in a fence, which, I gave you some samples of what I think could be allowed. Not just because of the absence of, specifics, but also even just going back into the, design guidelines. And, they basically say, no chain link fences, no plastic wrapping chain fences. I mean, that's really essentially what they have. We'll go back, I'll certainly go back, refresh my memory. But it's, I guess basically to finalize the point I'm trying to bring up for discussion, I'd just like to take a moment to maybe read what I came up with as things that I think if it came before the committee, even in the absence of having a list of prohibitions, I think maybe the committee would be looking favorably on. And so I'll just review these, or I don't know, 8 of them. Chain link, and that's because it's in the design guidelines not to do it. And I believe they also mentioned, of course, plastic or synthetic materials. So vinyl, plastic, other synthetic materials. Solid panels unless made from wood. I don't think we want to see somebody using, say, a solid steel panel that gets painted, or it's just Corten steel that rusts, for example. And do I think somebody's gonna do that? I don't know. But then again, I didn't think somebody's gonna put a fence up next to me the way it looks at the moment, so who knows? Bright colored fences such as white went over 3 feet high. I think from the photographs I submitted last time, it really does in the district make a big difference if this Sparta district was suddenly taken over by 6 foot high white vinyl fences, or even white painted fences. If you saw a picture I took of the Jug Tavern, there's a possibility of fences above it on the hill that don't exist right now, but could. And if they're white or some other kind of color, pink, it really distracts from the impression of the probably the most significant part of our district.
Yeah.
So that's why I put it up. Graphics or other images applied or integral to the fence. I mean, I've seen fences, people go to town, they paint it maybe pink, and then they put, images of birds or whatever else. It's like, why not? Is that something that's appropriate? I think that could be even possibly contentious, depending on what the graphics are. Lighting fixtures, unless installed on the private side of a fence, are not visible from adjacent properties or streets. And I included an image of a fanciful fence that has exactly that, these lights that are on top of the fence. I can't say somebody's gonna install those, but why wouldn't somebody consider it if they saw an image of it? Cloth panels, no sail panels. Some people, I've seen fences that are sail panel of cloth or some synthetic material. Unpainted aluminum or steel, galvanized steel fence posts facing inward are acceptable. So I don't think we'd like to see, I don't know, some kind of wood panel, but every so often, maybe 4 feet or so, or 8 feet, there are visible galvanized steel posts. I don't think that's appropriate for the district. And fence design, height, color, material not consistent along a property line in the same lot. We have some instances where, for some reason, I think it was one on Fairview, I took a picture of, where the fence seems to have been done in a certain way. Go back to the picture. I have that picture here. I have that picture here. I have to refresh my memory, but I believe up on Fairview Place, part of the backyard was like chain link, and then it became solid for whatever reason. And if it's assuming it's the same lot line, same property line, I think if you're gonna do a wood fence, it's wood all the way. It doesn't suddenly become something else on your lot line. That's my opinion. I also believe the code should say that we want to review the plans, and there should be material specifications and sample, photo of existing conditions, and fence plan elevations to avoid things like what's on my neighbor's property, with the picture I took of the, colliding fence posts where you can't even cap one of the posts because it was just, you know, placed together in any way they could. It looks like a mistake, obviously. So that's the other reason to have the draw, to have this requirement is not just to see that there are appropriate materials, but things aren't put in a hodgepodge way. There's more thought to it. And one other question I had was existing non-conforming conditions, repairs to fences that are non-compliant with for these potential shed requirements are not subject to HBC review unless repairs comprise more than question mark 50% of the total fencing length. So, you know, if somebody's white vinyl fence in 20 years is starting to fade and fall down, and they want to replace it entirely, does that trigger now a new application for conforming material, or if they're just fixing a few panels, it doesn't matter? It's a question I have. It's not something I'm convinced about at the moment.
I think it's a repair. That's all it is. Because if it's a prior non-conforming use of the main part of the building, it's a repair.
What defines repair again? Is it hard to do? To define repair? Isn't it like some percentage or some cost or
The
something?
10% rule that is in the current code will not be in the code within the next 6 to 7 weeks.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's being changed,
To a different percentage or
No.
just taking it out?
coming out entirely.
That solved the stair issue.
That's
Yeah.
part of the stair issues, but this is dealing particularly with prior non-conforming residential. That whole 10% really didn't work.
yeah, I would think.
So it's, that's gonna get changed.
So does it get changed in that there's still repairs are exempt or it,
No, repairs will still be considered exempt.
I see, but there'll be no specific so theoretical milestone where you cross from repair to replacement, total replacement.
The building inspector will know where the difference is.
Okay.
If someone is basically doing something, one thing, but if they're making a major change or whatever.
All right, so
there
it's
is,
subject to,
it is subject to the building inspector
Okay.
to see what's going on.
all right, so that explains it, subject to building inspector, okay. And I can see how that could make sense. It's like pornography, you know it when you see it, but you can't define it, for it that needs. So, yeah, that's, what I believe should be, somehow addressed. And, I'd like it to happen, in my view, it should happen earlier rather than later, because I honestly don't know when nobody knows, obviously, when somebody else may put up a non-conforming fence. It really does in our district, particularly brightly colored, and these white vinyl fences seem to be everywhere.
But why aren't fences? I know I kind of already.
Yeah, go ahead.
but why aren't they coming before HBC if it's in the historic district? Because you don't.
Because I understand, you
Why
don't
was
need a
the-
permit for it.
Well, then why was you brought up DOB or the building inspector? Why was he involved with that fence then?
He only got involved only because my neighbor tried to cross the Ts and dot the Is and was made aware of this through lot requirement.
Okay.
And he wanted a 6-foot high fence. And somehow with his contractor, he realized, hey, that's a little contrary. I better call the building department. This is how I understand it.
Okay.
And I know who we talked to. And he said, hey, I got this lot. This is where I am. And the guy knew exactly where he was on the map. And he said, oh, don't worry about it. You can treat it as a backyard. If my neighbor didn't do that, he could, you know, and put it up anyway. Nobody's gonna have him take it down. There are not conforming through lot fences facing Chilmark.
Well, I think I'd like to look through the HPC guidelines like a little more with this.
Sure.
Yeah, and be like, why not fences? Why aren't fences considered?
Yeah, I think that's our first step, is we need to find out from Stuart how we can get it brought into our purview that anyone who built a fence that's visible from the street in the historic district, it needs to come.
No, but I think Catherine's got a different question. Maybe Stuart has the answer now.
Mhm.
How come
Not,
fences aren't required in HPC how come fences do not require HPC
Because it's
review?
not been considered the exterior of the property itself, it's the actual property.
Right.
The
It's
exterior
on
of
the
the property,
property.
it's not been considered that.
And so it's not really because you don't need a permit to put it up, it's because,
No, it's because of the purview of the HPC as per section 270-25.
okay,
That's why.
but But we review retaining walls. Cause like,
You do on occasion, yes.
We've reviewed a driveway.
You have reviewed a driveway. What it comes down to is this, there've been decisions made by staff that certain matters just don't go to the HPC. And they don't go to the HPC because part of it is you don't want to necessarily burden the homeowner with having to come before multiple boards with multiple applications.
right,
If this board is of the view that fences, explicitly fences should be something subject, then that should be noted potentially in the code and would require a code change. I will say this, we are working on many changes to the zoning code now. So changing 270-25 is probably
top on your list.
an end of 26, end of 27 thing. And just so you know, I'm not here next year.
Oh, really?
So someone else will get to do what they have to do.
Is it realistic to think that we could at least get it before the board sometime this year?
Well, the way it would work is this, you could work on what you have, it would go to Valerie Monastra, who's the planning consultant. They would look at it, it would be a work session with the Board of Trustees.
Mhm.
The Board of Trustees thinks it's doable. It would then have to go to the planning board. All zoning text amendments must go to the planning board by code. Planning board holds, they don't hold a hearing, they basically come back with a recommendation. Then it would come back to the Board of Trustees and they can call for a public hearing. Is it theoretically possible that it comes before this year? Absolutely, there's no reason why not. I mean, we're gonna be doing zoning text amendments at the June 10th meeting, I think maybe a work session, maybe the June 24th. So this is not to say that it could not come up, it's just that that's the process to do it. So if you have something, think about it, discuss it among yourselves, present it, let Valerie look at it, I would look at it, but really more I want from a planning perspective. And also Joe Augustinelli's input, because theoretically what this might involve then is a referral on literally every fence case. Joe would have to refer it.
Well, only in the district, yeah.
Understood, but again, it's a referral in all those particular cases. In any event, that's the process, so there's no reason that you can't make the suggestion, and then it just will follow through as to what the boards do. The planning board is just merely a review and recommend body. They don't determine whether it gets voted in, that's the Board of Trustees.
With your experience, or Richard here, I mean, the point Catherine made is there could possibly be no stipulation or definition of what's appropriate or isn't appropriate. Instead, we know it when we see it. Or you could put down something that clearly shows what we know.
I think the risk you run is if you start listing what was not acceptable,
Yeah,
you will absolutely get people who say, well, it didn't say this, so I'm gonna put this in. And then you're gonna,
right.
I don't like to write it in the negative.
Yeah, and none of the other HPC language in the zoning code stipulates like what you can or cannot do. It's basically you need to go in front of the board for our review and whether or not it's appropriate for the district. I don't think fences should be any different, and getting it approved will be so much easier if it's a one sentence line that says,
That's
it, one sentence. It doesn't need to be reviewed
that's
by
all
100
true.
different people.
Because from a policy perspective, from a policy perspective, you folks can have what I like to refer to as internal policies. When we looked at this fence, we didn't think this was appropriate. Now, remember, if you don't like the fence here, and someone makes an application for that fence somewhere else, then probably what you've decided once is what you're going to decide on other occasions. But the idea is, and you could just put it, because now the code does say, you're going to review things that go on in the historic district. The big issue we used to have, Catherine, you and Stephen, you may have been, was paint.
Yeah.
Because there was always an issue, and older HPC boards would not review paint. Because their theory was, unless it was a garish change, and we did have one occasion where that was gonna happen, generally they didn't review paint color, they just didn't. It sort of evolved over time. If this board wants to specifically put in that any fences that are, are being considered within the historic preservation, or any of the HAD districts should be reviewed. That's, as Michael says, one line, and basically fences should be reviewed. Then the application will simply say, what are you doing? A fence, okay, great. And then Jamie King would see it as a fence, and Joe would see it, gotta be referred. That's it. And you folks can decide, is this the kind of fence that's appropriate for that district? You want to be consistent, though, obviously, in that what's okay here should not be rejected there, and you gotta look at it, but that's probably much easier than saying, we'll accept this final, but we won't accept that, we'll accept this. We have chain link for a specific reason, it just looks awful throughout the district, so we're not gonna let that one, like let chicken wire.
Well, it's right now just chicken wire, barbed wire.
But the bottom line is and the only other fence requirement is that the nice side of the fence has to face.
Yeah, which doesn't get followed in practice.
But,
Yeah.
But I think if you wanted something, it said that then internally you could, someone comes in, and I think it will be important that if the first applicant who comes in here, you have to say, this is what we would be looking at within your district, and this is it. But again, they're gonna need guidance as well, because they're just gonna think, whatever kind of fence should be, and whatever it is. Again, to start initially, if you think that fences should be something that you folks want to review within the HADs, or with regard to historic buildings, let's be both. Then it's your call. I mean, then it's something that the Board of Trustees would have to specifically put into the code. It's not there now.
Right.
And so that's a one sentence change. I will also say this in terms of expediency, that'll get considered a lot faster than.
A list, but that's a very good point that you both raised, so, and all of you raised about being expedient and less contentious. We could, as I recall, when we made changes to the design guidelines, we could do that unilaterally, we didn't need the board. It was
That's
only-
a just decision of yours. I would certainly share it with the board so that
Yes.
they're aware of it.
Of course.
Because it's ultimately, although it's HPC, it ultimately goes out as the, it's Village of Ossining. But in terms of having to be a code change, no code change.
That's
Well,
what I was thinking. in
yeah,
terms of
that's a good idea.
I mean, the list that you created, did that come out of the design guidelines? I can't remember.
No, what I did is my own idea of what I know we don't
So
want to see. I think we don't want to
maybe
see.
a way of tackling that is then incorporating that into
Yeah,
design. These guidelines would not be encouraged.
and we'd have pictures as they have already of the chain link, and we could show pictures of some of these other factors I proposed.
I just
And
think
then-
it would have to be reviewed more, because
Of
so it's
course.
not objective
Yeah.
and like specific materials, like you could use a plastic or vinyl that looks exactly like
And then we
an
could
old
put,
home.
yeah,
like-
and then we could put in what you suggested, a one line, fences in historical districts need to be reviewed by the HPC.
Oh.
And then there is guidance there already, if you're making changes. This is something, and if somebody brings something, we could say, we suggest you look at the village design guidelines for some ideas on what, might be appropriate and not.
Yeah.
And that way people aren't coming in blindly, but we're not being, as Stuart and Mike said, overly, and as you have said, overly, restrictive. And a good point, some synthetic material now looks very, very good. Like you wouldn't know whether it's wood or not, but it'll last 50 years versus rotting in 15 years.
No, that's a good point. And
I also think, it's real light. Because that's what the original.
then the what?
I have a photograph from, 200 years ago, there's a fence, there's a lamppost, and they're trying to, like, little things like
Yeah, I
that,
understand your
like,
point.
it could get.
Well, maybe
Unless-
we first try to get the law changed, and then we can always catch up with the guidelines. But being able to refer people to the guidelines is a way to take a little bit more of the subjective and solve it.
Parameters.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's set sometime. So if I may suggest, I mean, if you could, I'd love to be able to bring something in next month, so we have a meeting and we have the time. And so I'd like to be able to ask if you could, not that this becomes the proposed legislation, but anything you'd like to change or cross out as being something that wouldn't be in the design guidelines would be helpful, because I think, we could also be trying to look at these two things around the same time. And and then also possibly being able to use that to show Valerie that, we do have an idea of what this could possibly be. And or not.
I like that idea. Yeah.
So, and so in the July meeting, then we possibly could have something resolved and then go, I could approach Valerie and possibly have this come up again in our August meeting and try to set up a time. As you say, how do you set up a time to go over it with the board of trustees as a working?
There's no August meeting.
Oh, right, there's no August meeting.
Couple of things. I can draft the amendment to the code very quickly because it might even not even be a full sentence. It's probably just sticking in a couple of words and it's done.
Good.
So that I can just circulate to you people right away. If you like that, that I can send to Valerie. Because then as she has a list that's about from up here to down here of what we call different types of zoning changes. Some are small, some are large, but they're all getting done over time. It'll be probably a multi-year project we started last year. So that can easily be done. And I can have that for you within the next, I can have it for you certainly before your July meeting. So you can just see what that will look at. You guys can then work on your design guidelines, which would follow through after that. In terms of, probably the best thing to do is I can find out if Valerie can attend one of the meetings. You can do it. She can do it.
Oh, that would be very good.
That way she can basically hear what you people are saying and go back and forth. So why don't I touch base with her in that regard and see what her schedule is? And that way you can all go back and forth over it. And then, as I said, the code change goes to the board will say, okay, goes to the planning board, comes back from planning, then there's a public hearing. And then if all is good, it gets adopted.
Right, that's would be great, maybe even by the end of the year, who knows?
Could be. I mean, we have enough meetings left.
All right. May I, okay, so,
Just so I'm clear, just
yeah, please,
8 Rock Lake was granted,
yes,
okay, 165 Main,
that's the,
open door.
open, yeah, that would.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I was a little confused by that application.
No, and, what?
That's the first time we've allowed an illuminated sign.
Is that the one up on the,
Yeah.
where it says, oh, whatever it is?
Yeah, open door, it's just,
Oh, but they're going under different.
I think we have some others on the street, and, your point's noted, it's not against, but.
I thought we had an illuminated for total wireless, no?
It's a different thing.
I think part of the difference here is it's all the way, it's,
Up top.
but not as tall as the crane. But that's
I like,
We got no radio, I was like, oh, great, we got something big for you.
I thought it
If we
was.
could get that all put together, all fixed, we may actually be able to start getting the Tinker Toy parts here within the next couple of days, but.
Oh, yeah, or it's just NAPCO?
No, it's not, no, what it is it's not. The people who operate the crane, it's in a very tight spot.
Yeah.
So they had to move the pad that it's on, and then of course it's on a partial slope. And they're gonna be bringing all these pieces in, these massive pieces over the next 6 to 8 weeks, and they're gonna be coming.
What are you talking about for the?
Rocky Motor.
Oh, Rocky Motor, yeah.
It's basically
It's all
40
right?
ton, and
Just
they're coming down 9, up Church, then literally backing down and then onto Branford Street. They're gonna back the trucks that way onto Branford. You bet. These guys know what they're doing, so they do, but it's interesting to see what the plan is, because I'm going, I don't know, but okay.
Right.
By the way, are we off the record? Is Jamie still here?
Have we adjourned?
Yeah.
We can adjourn. Jane.
I'm still here. None of this is off the record. It's all recorded.
Jane,
All right.
now we can adjourn.
Now we adjourn.
All right, no problem. I will end the meeting.